Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We are right at 6 o'clock this Wednesday morning. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Mace Michaels for a look at your forecast.
Waking up around the area this morning, mostly clear, pleasant temperatures, a few cool pockets in the 40s, and some patchy areas of fog. Not seeing that here, though, in London. The London Corbin Airport, it's mostly clear, a 52 temperature, and the visibility looks good. Here in Hazard, well, my camera just faded away, but we've had some low clouds and fog to talk about. A 46 temperature now here in Hazard, and our visibility is around 3/4 of a mile. Williamsburg visibility is much lower, and Jacksboro has now dropped back quite a bit from near 2 miles not long ago to near zero. Middlesboro visibility down as well, so watch out for your travels this morning. Pikeville, near a mile. You could run into some locally dense fog. Otherwise, mostly clear in several areas, as we saw there in London, where your temperature again is hanging in the low 50s. Even in Monticello, it's as warm as 57 at this hour. Otherwise, lots of mid and upper 40s through the region. Our sky is mostly clear. It is a beautiful morning otherwise, other than the fog. The afternoon should be mostly sunny. Heading to the bus stop, 40s now, some 50s later. We're up into the 60s by lunchtime and 70s for the high later today, Madison.
All right, Mace, thank you. Community members who were in downtown Elizabethtown described hearing the shots ring out after police say 46-year-old Christopher Elder shot 3 people, killing 37-year-old Erica Riley and her mother, 71-year-old Janet Riley. This all happened across the state from the Hardin County Justice Center. People inside the Justice Center at the time say they heard multiple gunshots Monday morning. Madison Elliott reports.
And heard like 5 pops, and they said active shooter.
Billy Ashley says he was at the courthouse for jury duty when he heard the shots ring out.
So we just kind of took cover and waited till the all clear.
People working in nearby offices, like Desiree Ramasamy, heard it too.
I was on the phone while my boss was like, did that sound like gunshots? As soon as I got off the phone, we both came outside through the back to see what happened. The police were already on scene.
Michael Cockrell was leaving the courthouse, but at first didn't realize what he heard.
At first, I thought it was maybe some construction on the inside of the building, like a nail gun, something going off. I just couldn't believe that it was gunshots.
Those inside the courthouse, such as Ashley and Noah Jackson, were put on lockdown.
We didn't talk about it at all because, you know, it was a courtroom. We wanted to be quiet, but the minute people were allowed to leave, they were like, what on earth is going on out here?
He and others waited outside the courthouse once they were released from lockdown because their cars were across the street in the parking lot where the shooting unfolded. A bullet ricocheted off of Jackson's car, leaving a mark. A bullet also went through Ramasamy's Honda Civic.
They said it was on the passenger side in the back, and the way he shot, it went through the trunk.
Luckily, she wasn't in the car, but instead had gone to work maybe just 30 minutes prior.
I can only imagine having to be in the parking lot and possibly even being a victim to him and his chaos this morning.
That was Madison Elliott reporting. One possible aspect of the shooting was reported domestic violence. Police say the shooter was Erica Riley's boyfriend, Christopher Elder. Court records show Erica had filed for an emergency protective order against Elder, alleging a 1.5 years of abuse against her and her children. Officers say the Rileys and Elder were at the courthouse for a hearing in the case.
Many survivors are going to see that and be afraid they can't leave and not sure how to leave. And so you've got to show up more than ever.
Darlene Thomas is the executive director of Greenhouse 17, an advocacy agency committed to ending intimate partner abuse. She says they have a list of resources from legal advocacy to an emergency shelter. Greenhouse 17 is one of 15 programs that are part of a statewide coalition called Zero V. They work to make sure these resources are available throughout the state. Those resources can be found at locations like Cumberland Valley Domestic Violence Services in the Cumberland Valley, the LKLP Safe House in the Kentucky River Valley, or the Turning Point Domestic Violence Services in the Big Sandy area. You can find more information about this story and more at WYMT.com. The Marine Corps Base in Jacksonville, North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, is continually gaining notoriety for a toxic water situation. Veterans who served at Camp Lejeune from August 1953 to December 1987 are still being notified about their exposure. Advocates worked alongside Congress to get the Camp Lejeune Justice Act passed in 2022. And now advocates like Knott County Central graduate and Marine Brian Ambergy are working on an amendment to the act.
We get out and do this, and I've lost several good friends that has passed away because of the health issues from it, and it just tears you up and real bad. I mean, it haunts you.
Ambergy says when he sees other Marines, he makes sure they know about the toxic water at Camp Lejeune. We will finish the story of how Marines are continuing to fight for those suffering with the effects of the toxic water at Camp Lejeune later tonight at 6. Some health department officials in Kentucky are reminding people to stay vigilant against COVID after seeing an increase in COVID activity. It starts with prevention. The latest COVID vaccine formula is set to become available in September. You should also practice good hygiene by washing your hands, cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue, or cough into your elbow. If you're sick, stay home until you are both fever-free without using medication and are feeling better overall for 24 hours. A mission group is in the mountains working to help folks recover from the 2022 floods. A foundation called Martha, Mary, and Me is in Lejeune County with its Save the Sheep ministry working to repair homes, churches, and more. President Cordelia Schreiber says seeing the need even 2 years later is hard to wrap her head around.
So I know that it's God's will for us to be here, and we continue to find people who need help, and as long as people need help and we're able to help them, we'll continue to come.
The group is currently working on home repairs and replacements at the Millstone Church of Grace.
The first rays of sunshine just starting to creep on up above the horizon here on our Moorhead camera. Brighter for us. The sky is mostly clear, not dealing with any foggy areas here along I-64, but still having patchy areas of locally dense fog showing up here in Hazard. Our temperature now is at 46, although it looks like the visibility has come up a little bit. We're now at 3/4 mile visibility here in Hazard. It's been near zero in Williamsburg, and it is at that area right around 1/4 mile or less in Jacksboro. Pikeville now sliding below a mile as well. So patchy, locally dense fog once again throughout the area this morning. Some cool pockets of 40s as well, like here in Hazard. Also Pikeville, Clintwood, and Grundy. Otherwise, it's lots of low and even some mid-50s as you look towards Somerset and Monticello, even at 58. Mostly clear sky over the area this morning, other than the foggy areas. Yes, we'll stay mostly sunny for this afternoon. Looks like a nice day with high temperatures in the mid-70s. We'll look at 80s and 90s, though, returning from below average now to above average ahead. That in the full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Mace, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. When we return, the Obamas headlined an energetic night 2 of the Democratic National Convention as other big names also took the stage.